AITA for not letting an autistic boy eat from my plate? My F30 friend, Anna, F37, has a son, Jim, M11, who has ASD level 1. I moved a couple of months ago and haven't seen them F2F since. Last week, I was visiting town and our friends group arranged to meet at a restaurant. Anna said she'd bring Jim. Everyone was cool with it. I asked if he'd be comfortable, and she said they, friends and Jim, often met together. It'd be fine. We were 6 people plus Jim. Everything was great, until first courses arrived and Jim started walking around the table, using his hands to help himself from other people's plates. I was shocked and asked another friend, Tom, if this was usual. He said yes just as Jim reached into my salad. In a reflex, I placed my hand between his and my plate and went, Jim, please don't, it's mine. He seemed confused and I told him it's very rude to grab other people's food. Anna said it was okay. He always does that and nobody minds. I said I did as Jim went over to the next person. Everyone got quiet until Tom redirected the convo. When they served the next course, Jim went at it again. This time he was more forceful. So I pushed his hand away and said that if he wanted to share, he'd have to sit down and wait until I put the food on his plate. Anna yelled that I was horrible. It wouldn't kill me to let Jim eat my food. He can't help it, and I of all people should be sympathetic. I'm multiply neurodivergent, although not autistic. I retorted I ought to decide if I share my food or not. With whom and how? The argument got more heated until I bit back that ASD isn't an excuse and Jim needs to learn some boundaries. Granted, not his fault he has ASD, but that doesn't mean zero accountability, and she's not doing him any favors by not enforcing boundaries. Tom and another friend sided with me, whereas the others said I was top. The dinner ended on a rather bad note, and when we left, Jim asked if I was mad. I told him I wasn't upset at him, but he needs to respect other people when they say no. Anna got even angrier and told me to stop policing her son before storming off. It's been 3 days, and the only people who think I'm NTA are Tom, the other friend, and Anna's husband. I'm starting to wonder if I was wrong. So, AITA? NTA. It really bothers me when parents treat children with autism as if they can't learn. I have autism myself. NTA. Nothing about ASD level 1 prevents an 11-year-old from learning he can't grab food on someone else's plate. Speaking as a person with ASD level 1, Anna is not doing her kid any favors. NTA. Touching others' food is a great place for a boundary, and his mother certainly isn't doing him any favors by encouraging this behavior. Frankly, I would have been so disgusted that I wouldn't consider eating with them again, damaging to the friendship or not. NTA. Backquote, the argument got more heated until I bit back that ASD isn't an excuse and Jim needs to learn some boundaries. Granted, not his fault he has ASD, but that doesn't mean zero accountability, and she's not doing him any favors by not enforcing boundaries. Backquote. Bingo. I am the mother of a now adult autistic daughter. You are spot on. That which can be taught should be taught. Poor Jim is facing a lifetime of misery because his mother won't teach him how to behave. NTA. He went around grabbing food off of people's plate with his hands. Who knows what he has been touching before he started to spread germs around the chair, the table, people. It's incredibly unhygienic. And yeah, just because he has ASD doesn't mean that disciplining and setting boundaries aren't a thing anymore. Even Anna's husband knows you were right for enforcing a boundary. NTA. I have ASD, as do my 2 children. They have to follow rules too. My daughter used to attack any other child wearing pink. Shout, I have let her get away with that because she has ASD. Spoiler. I did not. We did play therapy, regular therapy, and interventions, and now she has no issues what anyone else wears. The first thing I say to people is that it's okay to say no to my children when boundaries are being overstepped. I encourage it. They need to learn boundaries. It takes consistent effort for them to do so. I honestly struggle with my son because others don't tell him no, so he climbs over myself and his sister and thinks it's okay because everyone but mama and sissy don't seem to mind, even though it actually hurts a lot. NTA. Sure, the kid has ASD. That doesn't excuse anything. An even bigger awe is the parent for letting him just do what he wants because of it. Having a disability should never be an excuse. NTA. These parents are doing their child a huge disservice. Also, it's just gross. NTA. They'll have bigger problems later by not teaching that food is a person's property once it's on their plate. And gross. You are NTA and not on the wrong. Your friend's son needs to learn it is not okay to grab people's food without their permission, as it is rude and unhygienic. Anna is not doing him favors by choosing not to teach him etiquette and boundaries. You are right that having ASD is not an excuse to touch people's food or misbehave. NTA at all. It's unsanitary and rude. It's not his fault. But if everyone decides he can't learn, then he won't. NTA. Sorry, but if you know that your kid is going to be picking through other people's food, perhaps you want to express that before you bring him. Autism is one thing, but weaponized ignorance is another. His parents need to think a little more. Ever seen The Miracle Worker? It's about Helen Keller, a child that got sick as a toddler and lost her hearing and sight. She was raised as if she was a wild animal, and one of the main scenes in the movie, play version, was of her going around the table snatching food from any plate she wanted while the family just ignored her. Anne Sullivan realized that her family thought her unable to learn, and disagreed. She spent time gently but firmly stopping Helen from her food stealing and tantrums, and it was later discovered that not only could Helen learn, she was very intelligent and just needed guidance to being able to communicate. This child is also capable of learning. The mother is coddling him to the point where she is turning him into an unmanageable person, and it will bite her, and this poor kid, in the ass as he grows up, and no one wants to be around them. She needs to step up and work with her kid, and hire others to help if she's too overwhelmed herself, instead of lashing out at others for her lack of real involvement with her kid's development. Your laying down a boundary is not the issue. The mother being neglectful and treating her kid as if he is too incapable of instruction and learning is the issue. NTA. NTA. This is a form of neglect. She's failing her son. NTA. This seems like a pretty basic rule for interacting with people outside of their immediate family, that he seems extremely likely to be able to do just fine with that consistent guidance, evidenced by the fact that he didn't actually take your food and was just confused and tried multiple times. How does his parents' stance work at a restaurant with lots of plates around and they don't know people? And if they don't take him out ever themselves, do they expect him to never eat in a restaurant? He's a functional human being. What the entire hell? NTA. It's not even remotely reasonable to think that an 11-year-old can dig his hand into the plate of anyone and everyone he chooses, and that's not a problem. That's disgusting, particularly since you can't verify what his hand hygiene is like. Joey doesn't share food. NTA. NTA. Anna needs to try and teach him basic manners. INTA, she's a delusional enabler full stop. NTA. Not even close. Living with autism isn't carte blanche to do whatever you like. You were right to be upset with Anna. And not Jim though, as she's the one who allows it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.